my scrappy friends. I have something really fun for you today. If you haven't been on social media much, or you don't go on Instagram or Facebook very often, you might not know, but I was asked to be on the Get It Scrapped creative team this year, and I am super excited to join in with so many amazing ladies that are in already a part of that team. And so each month we get a um, a challenge, if you will, or an assignment, and a certain amount of ladies use the same challenge or same assignment. So we all interpret it in a different way. And I really like this. It's something similar that we do over at the Crafty Maven anyway, which makes this team a really fun fit for me because I get to play around with different assignments that I might have not thought of. So I I'm loving this. So my my assignment this month was to use that style board that you've seen, or the mood board at the beginning. So basically, when companies or when a business is going to start, they put together like a style brand or a board that kind of helps describe what they want their field to look like. Like, what do you want your company to look like? What kind of fonts do you want to use? All that kind of stuff. And you can use these for mood boards. I know I create my own over at the Crafty Maven all the time. I don't always add fonts and stuff, but it's the same concept. So you just take a whole bunch of different photos. So um, what I decided to do, and I let this stew throughout the week or so. Actually, really, I thought about it for a while, but really the week before I sat down to my desk, I really thought about what kind of things do I want to take from this board. And this is the fun thing about using boards like this, is that you can easily think about it throughout your week and just say, what part of this board screams to me? What part of this board is inspiring me to think, to feel something, to think something, to, want to do something? Or is it something that I've done? So these boards you just don't need to use for color. You can use for so many different things. So the board that I'm using has some naturey feels. It has this geometric pattern, which I decided to sketch out with my silhouette, and then I went in after and I used hand stitching. So you didn't see me hand stitch because that took a long time. But so I did that. And creating your own cut file in Silhouette is super easy. I mean, all I had to do was take the photo and turn the photo from a JPEG to a PNG and bring it over into my Silhouette, and then use the cut option, and you just trace it and you cut it, and or you trace it and it'll show you the lines and you can cut it from there. So it's really nice and simple. And when you use a sketch pen, you just put a sketch pen in instead, and there's a sketch little line like where it'll say the blade and everything, and you can switch it to sketch pen and just sketch it, and it's just really nice. I did take some of the colors, which were really muted, like outdoorsy colors, and then I also decided to use a photo or photos, because as you see, I'm doing a double page layout because as I started making, and it's funny because when I first started it, I wasn't planning on doing a double page, but as I got going, I decided, "Yeah, this just needs to be a double page." And that tends to happen to me when I'm creating, um depending on what I'm making will kind of inspire me to just either create more or less depending on whatever it is I'm scrapbooking. And this is the fun thing about taking it easy and doing things, thinking about things over time, is you can really make a board like this just really be you and not so much the board. You can really interpret it in so many different ways. So if you guys haven't heard of Get It Scrapped, I will make sure I have links below there. But Get It Scrapped is a community of scrapbookers, and Debbie Hodge is the starter of Get It Scrapped, and she does tons of webinars and has lots of information and classes over in the Get It Scrapped community, which is a paid subscription. So you pay for a year subscription, and you can have access to all the different classes and all these different things. And it's a really fun place. I haven't been a part of the community very long, but in the little bit of time that I have, I've really enjoyed the webinars and stuff that she does. So it's really nice and fun. So definitely, if it's something that you can budget into your budget, it's a good way to get different inspiration ideas, especially if you're someone who has scrapped for a decent amount of time, or you're a really prolific scrapbooker, because sometimes you just need help coming up with starter ideas. All these stories and things are stuck in your head, and sometimes you just need a little help to get those stories out. And Get It Scrapped is a great place to do that. Also, once a year, Get It Scrapped does a thing called Calvin Ball, where it's a challenge all month to scrap as much as possible. And basically, you add your own. So there's a certain like challenge rules, and you get points for adding different elements to your layouts, and you can change the rules. So as it goes on, you add more things that you can add to layouts and all that kind of stuff. And it's really complicated, but it's not really all that complicated. You just go in and you look and you see all the different things that you can use to get points, and you get points for adding certain types of embellishments or different things to your layouts or different stories. And you just share it and post it there, and everybody there is really fun and all that good stuff. So back to the layout. So as you can see, I'm adding tons of layers, tons of colors, but I'm really trying to stick with the color palette that was on the mood board. I think I added a little bit more of that coral color. I don't think that really was in there too much, but I felt like it needed something soft, because even though this picture was actually taken in the summer, like it felt, I don't know, it just felt like it needed more of a spring touch. So, but I did cut out a whole bunch of these leaves and vines and stuff from my silhouette, and I'm going to use these to layer, and I'm just going crazy. I actually did a ton of stuff, and I'm surprised it didn't take me longer to get this layout done. But it was really fun, and I think that using that inspiration piece really brought out my creativity to be able to just come up with a whole bunch of different ideas to start off. It may have not taken me really any longer. That was one of the questions that we had to ask. So for the post, which I can try to link that below too, we talked about if our piece really made it easier to create, or took the time away from at our desk. So like, were we spending less time at our desk creating because we had a plan already? And I think that if I had sat down to make a layout with these photos, I probably wouldn't have come up with as intricate of things to add. So because I took the time ahead of time, I thought about making a cut file and doing the hand stitching, cutting all those leaves out to add them to the layout. Going in and you'll see on my photo, one of the photos, I printed off a phrase on it with the font that's really similar to the font that was in the style board. So these are things that you if you just did when you sat down, it probably would have took a lot longer to do. But because I was thinking about them all week long, and this is one thing that I would recommend to anyone, especially, and I know I try to do this on weeks that I'm really super busy and I'm crazy and I don't have a chance to actually sit down at my desk, is take the time to think about what I want to do on pages throughout my week. Have a list of layouts, ideas that I want to document, have a list of techniques that I want to try out on um, pages or for like art journaling and that kind of thing. Because when you take the time to think about it, it really helps keep those creative juices going. And then when you sit down at your desk, it's like, boom, all those ideas just explode out of you and you can create so much quicker and easier than if you just were took your week and you didn't take time to think about scrapbooking. I mean, and not to say that you have to be obsessive about thinking about scrapbooking stuff all the time, but I mean, take 10 minutes every day and just kind of think about what you want to accomplish in your layouts, and it's totally different for everyone. It's very different for everyone because everybody scrapbooks differently, and you need to know your why, or what you want to accomplish on your page, and use that as your guideposts for how you want to think about scrapbooking throughout your week. And that, like I said, this really will help get those creative juices, and it'll help with the mojo issue, because I know I find that weeks that I'm so busy that I don't take the time to think about what I want to get done in my room, what things I want to work on, what stories I want to tell, what techniques I want to try, what do I want to play with in my room this week. When I don't take the time to think about that, when I go to sit down, I have to think about that stuff when I sit down. And then sometimes I'm so tired that I don't have, like, my brain hasn't thought about it. It takes a lot longer to get or access all that stuff. So yeah, but definitely check out Get It Scrapped and the other ladies' layouts that worked on these boards, because we all picked boards that were on Get It Scrapped, and I'll make sure I have a link to the Pinterest boards that we used as our inspirations, or that we could pick from. But I liked that we all used boards, and we all use them in different ways. And you can see paper crafters and digital scrapbookers too. So if you're someone who likes to do a lot of that hybrid stuff, or you like to do stuff on your computer instead to do layouts or whatever, that is definitely something that you can do, And actually, if you're probably a digital scrapper, it's so much easier to use a board, because you're not having you're already having digital elements on your layouts that could easily be similar to what were on those style boards. So I'm just trying to figure out what else I want to put. I had something sticking out of the other side, so I'm thinking I want to do something really similar, and I'm just using a lot of the little scrap pieces that I've had. This layout definitely took me a lot longer, and this video is a lot longer than I normally do. I'm looking and I'm going, oh my gosh. When I first started scrapbooking, it used to take me about, my videos were about 20 minutes long. And now when I have to sit down and talk for 20 minutes, it's crazy. It's like, how did I talk for that long? But, you just do. You find things to do. You take your time, right? Of course, my messy head is all in there. But I'm loving those Maggie Holmes. Those are Maggie Holmes. So those are, she has a specialty paper that has all these tags on it, and you can rip them out, and I am loving using those. They were so much fun to add to these because, with a train. So this layout is, now that I've kind of talked a lot about what I'm doing, and it's pretty simple and basic, and it's really similar. I mean, I really didn't do anything new. on here than what I normally do, just layer. And really, I find with layering, you just have to keep trying it out. You just got to keep messing around with it. And I know that some people don't like to fiddle around, but sometimes if you want really cool layers, that's really just all you have to do. You have to put it in there. See, does it look okay? No, it doesn't. Pull it out, and you can do that a lot faster than you think you can. So, and the more you do it, the more your mind can already see it and visualize it before you actually do it. So the more you play around and you see how angling a piece of paper one way will look, your brain like I said, can fill in the answers to that. So yeah. So this layout is is another spread that is about when we went to the train museum. So I took tons and tons of photos at the train museum. So I'm just trying to make sure I get as many of them as I can scrapped, because they are amazing and I use my DSLR and I love my DSLR. So if I can pull that out and use it and then get some really fun layouts and remember some fun things. And we all really did have so much fun riding on. So we got to ride on the trains. The train took you out to the museum, and then the train takes you back, and it goes through the area, and it's a really country and wooded area. So you go through woods and you go along the river, one of the rivers and pond, like lake pond areas, and this is really close to Mount Rainier. Though that day it was really cloudy, as far as like over the mountain because of the time of the year. So all the snow is melting and it just creates so much clouds over um, the mountain that you couldn't see it, but that's okay. So if you look, you can see where I did some font. It's really, really hard to see because I used a really light color, but you can see it on the layout. So here are all the close-ups, and don't forget to check out the links below if you want to see any of that stuff. And I will see you guys later. I hope you have a great, great scrappy week. Bye.